Okay, folks, so I decided that after watching Epic Name Bro's discussion about the press release and what he thought of the trailer, I started having a whole bunch of ideas go off, and I really feel like I want to talk to it and submit it as a video response kind of thing, just to see what you guys think of it. Uh, so the biggest concern I think people are having right now is that Miyazaki isn't the director. And understandably so. He created the games that we really like. And so putting it in the hands of somebody else can seem kind of concerning. And as it should, because, I mean, that's what it means that we're fans. Of course we're concerned about the series, right? But I want to kind of reinforce that, Miyazaki is still the boss. He's still top dog. He's supervisor. And so the director's going to be able to do a lot of stuff, but he's still going to need approval of the supervisor. So I don't necessarily think that's too much to worry about. And there's a couple reasons why I think that could be happening. Maybe FromSoft is expanding because of the Souls franchise. Before then, they did the 3D dot game Heroes, which is pretty big, and then obviously the Armored Core series has been like the meat and potatoes of what they've done up until now. And then there's some Kingsfield and Eternal Ring type stuff, but I don't know if those ever did very well. So seriously, like Demon Souls and Dark Souls, that's like the most explosively successful thing FromSoft has ever done. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but just from what I've seen. And so maybe now, like I said, FromSoft is getting larger, and so Miyazaki may not necessarily have to be a director, and so he's moving himself into a supervisory position so he can have better eyesight over everything that's happening. And then another possible thing is that, it would be sad, but maybe Miyazaki's leaving. Maybe he's not going to be with FromSoft forever. I mean, I guess you got to retire eventually. I don't know how old he is. And the reason he's supervisor is because he's wanting to kind of groom Shi-BOO-YAH to be the next to take over. It's funny, the first thing I thought of was Willy Wonka. Maybe Shi-BOO-YAH got a golden ticket. And so what Miyazaki's doing right now is sort of trying to help him and guide him and be a mentor so he doesn't take the series in the wrong direction, but still allowing him creative freedom to put his thoughts into it. And one thing that I don't say it sat as negatively with me as it did with Marcus was the new hero comment. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but I think that's Shi-BOO-YAH not understanding how finely tuned the Souls fans are. I mean, we are used to analyzing absolutely everything, just where stuff's located, words that are used, and even in the combat situations, constantly reading your enemies and thinking about what's happening and adjusting your behavior based off of analyzing that instant. And I don't know that whenever Shi-BOO-YAH made that comment, he was necessarily aware or ready to understand that, everything he says carries a lot of weight. And of course, Dark Souls 2, it was just announced a couple days ago. So this is all speculation. But it's just some thoughts. As far as the accessibility thing and being concerned about the Souls franchise falling into a cult cul-de-sac, I felt like that was, I won't say it was rude, but it was a little misinformed. That's a pretty well-filled cul-de-sac, alright? Since its release, I just looked up the numbers. As of March 2012, Dark Souls has sold 1.6 million copies. So they've probably sold a lot more than that now. And I went ahead and looked up Demon Souls had sold 1 million copies. And I'll try and find the link to that article that talks about that. But you figure that's 2.5 million games. That's pretty good, I think. I mean, no, it's not 10 million like freaking Black Ops 2, but again, this is a little bit of a niche title, but it's a pretty good selling niche title. Um, and as far as the accessibility goes with the storyline, if it's a prequel, I can see a little bit of that because we kind of know the outcomes. You know, it's like Romeo and Juliet. We're kind of told at the beginning what's going to happen because we played Dark Souls. So we kind of know the ultimate layout of the events. What we don't know is all the intricate little details along the way. So whenever I saw the Lord Ran concept art that Epic Namero talked about, the first thing that came to my mind was Journey, the game. And I wasn't really a big fan of it, but I immediately got this idea. You know, you can see Lord Ran just off in the distance. And in Journey, you're like traveling to this mountain for some reason that's not really explained to you. You're just going there. But the entire time you're traveling there, you know, you're passing through different areas and reaching different vistas. And on a lot of occasions, you can see that mountain in the distance. So you know your ultimate goal. Maybe in this case, Lord Ran might be something similar to that. You know, you're going to start fighting through all these underneath or well-hidden places, and then on occasion you're going to come up to this mountaintop and realize just how much closer you are, or how much closer you're not. I wouldn't put it past him. And so that's kind of a concept that I see it like, yes, in a way that's more straightforward, but at the same time, that leaves a lot of room to just fill in detail about different environments, things that happen there, and what could happen there, and you know, NPCs you can meet. There's just so much stuff, but it's still sort of a straightforward storyline. And so I'm hoping it's something like that, because the more I think about it, the more it seems interesting. The next topic I want to talk about is the multiplayer versus single player concept. Putting in a multiplayer mode is absolutely silly. It's a waste of time, I think. Because to say that, okay, this is my multiplayer character, and then this is my single player character. Well, you know, they're probably going to operate on a lot of similar concepts. The only difference is one can't get invaded, and they can't summon people. Well, yeah, you already have that with offline mode or just playing as a holo. So the idea that they would want to try and add modes like that, there would need to be a lot more to that than what we already know. Because from what I know now, that's just absolutely silly. That said, if they try and do something where like you can go human and summon somebody, but you don't got to worry about being invaded, I kind of don't like that, because that's going to kill invasions. Like, it's just so much. The only people getting invaded are going to be the people looking for PvP. Which, invasions are not just PvP. It's a part of the world. It's a part of the concept. You know? When you go human, you take on this risk of, I could get invaded. And you know what? Yeah, that's pretty hair-raising. And whenever you see that bar on the bottom of the screen, you know, Dark Spirit, I'm going to freaking kill you, has invaded. You're like, well, I'm gonna get freaking killed. What the hell? I just wanted to summon somebody to make my boss easier. But like that just makes winning the boss fight that much more satisfying, you know? And plus, if you can summon a friend, like 2 versus 1 on invasions, I mean, most people can handle that situation. Unless the invader is just uber badass or they're cheating on a PC or something. And which I haven't really ran into a lot of cheaters. I started playing the PC version probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm almost done with my second playthrough. And I've run into one guy with an infinite health mod. Other than that, everyone's been pretty legit. So I don't want to see a prize without risk kind of situation. I think that's a step away from what Dark Souls would be. So if there was a situation where you could summon somebody safely and not have to worry about invasions, I don't know. That would just feel kind of lame. I got a couple more things I want to talk about here, and I'll be done. The trailer Yeah, I watched it a couple more times, and I really tend to agree that the music didn't really fit the vibe of Dark Souls. If I got any sort of feeling from the music, it would absolutely have to be Lord of the Rings. Just everything about the way it swells and flows, and whenever they used it, and even that little kind of guitar underneath, like it felt very Lord of the Rings. And you guys could totally say I'm full of crap, which is fine because it's just opinions, and we all got one. But I think the art design and the actual like video portion of it does a good job laying out what can happen, except for the arrow thing. But I think that's just like, yeah, I'm so fucking badass, because I mean, even then, think about like the first time you saw the Hellkite worm on the Undead Paris Bridge. Yeah, you got to run up here to this little staircase over here. You're gonna take a hit, but it's not gonna kill you. Well, that's a dragon or drake breathing fire on you, and you're like, okay, yeah, just roll through it. It's fine. So to some extent, the idea of, oh, I got shot with this arrow, pink, and I pull it out, I can kind of let that slide a little bit, because everything else in the video really seemed to show off that, yeah, you're still going to get your ass whooped kind of vibe. And that sort of despairness a little bit. Sort of the ambush scene with the masked people seemed kind of interesting, because it just seemed like that guy was surrounded. I'm really interested to see how that plays out. And I think, just to be totally fair, and this is completely my opinion, the music does a lot for the trailer. And that's because the Dark Souls 1, as we can call it now, trailer, was pretty much the most badass trailer ever. They did a very good job picking the music for that trailer. Because if you look up the lyrics to that song, everything about that song kind of describes part of your experience in Dark Souls. Just the like, I'm knee deep in water, I'm praying to God for help, and God's like, well, you're gonna sink or swim, figure it out, and just really check out that song. I don't know if I can link it or not, or whatever, if that's like a copyright issue. I'll try and link it, but you guys have probably already heard it, just in case. I think really, FromSoft knows what they should do for their fans. And yeah, maybe that seems bad. People who aren't fans can't access it. Well, they can go play Dark Souls. Alright? Because that's what I did. We saw kind of what happens whenever you try to pull in people who haven't played a game before and just say, oh yeah, it's totally cool that you haven't played the first 2 games. Go ahead and jump in on the 3rd one. Who cares? Yeah, look what happened with Mass Effect, alright? I don't want to see that happen to Dark Souls. And I am completely comfortable saying that if you want to play Dark Souls 2, it's probably a good idea to play Dark Souls 1, at least. Just to get a vibe, an idea of the lore, and just to kind of get a warm-up. Because, I mean, I'm not the best player out there, but I'm getting a lot better at Dark Souls. And if Dark Souls 2 isn't a little bit harder, it's going to be it'll be fun, but it won't be as fun, And really, the most concern I have is that timing. Obviously they want to implement a really good multiplayer system, and they want PvP to be awesome, and they want role-playing to be awesome, and they want the story to be really cool and well portrayed, and the combat and everything to kind of work well together. And they've done a good job of that up until now, because they've focused so much on the single-player experience and added sort of this kind of, I wouldn't say, it's definitely not tacked on, but just 50 to 70% committed multiplayer concept. If they try to put more into multiplayer, they're going to have less people and resources to work on the single player experience. And I don't know if that's going to be good or bad for the series, because a lot of people that I know that really enjoy the game are really into the story kind of bits and the just general role-playing experience, the single-playerness of it. But that's all I really have. I'm really interested to know what you guys think about it. I probably talked real fast. But that's just everything that I sort of thought of whenever I started reading about Dark Souls 2. So, thanks for watching.